Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, so it's time for a Facebook Live. So here I am. Hopefully, some of you are out there as well, kind of winding down from your Monday. Hopefully, it was a good Monday. It's I can hear the wind outside. We had a beautiful weekend here in Missouri, but now the weather is beginning to turn again, and we might be getting some snow or something else not as fun. So, anyway, wherever you are, hopefully you're having a good night and things are going well. And I don't have tea. I should, but I'm having a little bit of some lemonade. And so if you're hanging out with me, you can comment or like or let me know what you're having this evening as you wind down from your day. So I wanted to pick up actually where I left off a couple weeks ago when, if you haven't watched the Facebook Live that I did on the quote about you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with, I would love if you went back. It's a couple weeks ago, not last week, but the week before, and caught up with that one. But the gist of it is that it's the thought process of who you surround yourself with has a pretty significant impact on your day to day life and your outlook. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit more and a mindset of how we impact that ourselves. So, not only the people that maybe we're choosing to spend time with as friends or that we're surrounded with at work, maybe by choice, maybe by not, but also if we think about the average of the five people we spend the most time with, we spend the very most time with ourselves. So, if you think about yourself, are you improving your average? Are you lifting your average? Are you encouraging yourself and motivating you throughout the day? Or are you bringing down your average by negative self talk or by doubting yourself or being harsh to yourself, letting yourself down, that type of thing? So if you include yourself in those five people that you're spending the most time with, how does that impact your average? And I hope for all of you watching that it improves your average. But I know that even those of us that we say, oh, for the most part, I improve my average, we all have moments or days when our mindset could be better. And so I thought it might be nice to just spend tonight kind of reminding ourselves that we are one of those five that we're spending the most time with. And for instance, tonight, this is my second attempt at doing a Facebook Live. My first time, I don't know, something happened and it froze up, and all of a sudden I was, of course, caught in like one of those awkward faces. And suddenly it wasn't doing anything. So I could blame myself and get stressed and what did you do or not do, or you should have checked this or you should have checked that, but I'm not going to do anything, right? So trying to take my own advice and say, oh, well, probably nobody was watching anyway, so I'll just start over, reboot my computer, try again. Things happen. And if somebody is that frustrated that my first attempt didn't work, well, they're probably not in my community anyway, right? Because you all are nice to me. So I have surrounded myself with you all and who are great and uplifting. So I need to do that for myself too, to not bring my average down. And really starting to ask yourself on a regular basis, touching base with yourself, that am I raising my average or am I lowering my average? Am I being a good friend to myself? How often, sometimes when I catch myself and I'm giving myself a hard time, or I can't decide something, or I'm feeling guilty that maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, And a lot of the ways that I try to bring myself back is say, what would I be telling someone else? If I was the friend that was being asked or presented with this predicament or this thing, what would my response be? What would I say? And if that's what I would tell a loved one or a dear friend, that's what I need to tell myself too. And what can I be telling myself? And what advice can I be giving that's uplifting and motivating and not just making things worse? And how can I show myself, grace or forgiveness? That oftentimes we see people that they're much harder on themselves than they ever are on anybody else. And so if you wouldn't say those things to someone else, or you wouldn't be mad at someone else for that mistake, then why would we be mad at ourselves? And why would we treat ourselves so differently? And how does that impact then our average? If we're talking again about we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, and that we are one of those people, then we want to treat ourselves in ways that we would treat others. That seems like a good idea, right? And additionally, how are we valuing our time with ourselves? So frequently I have people say, oh, I was gonna do this, or I know I need to get this, I need a massage, or I was gonna come to yoga, but we keep bumping ourselves off of our own schedules and we don't keep those appointments, right? We're not really prioritizing those. Well, would we do that as frequently if that was an appointment with a friend? Or would we tell our friends, yeah, you should just take those things off your calendar. Those aren't important. You should always put yourself last. You should always take those things off first. They're not important. I don't think so, right? I've never told a friend that. If anything, we usually tell our friends the opposite, right? We're like, no, it's important. You need to take that time for yourself. Go for that walk over lunch. Do whatever those things were that would value yourself. And if we're going to tell our friends that to try to boost their average and be encouraging and motivating and supporting for them, we need to be able to tell ourselves that too. And so we need to be friends to ourselves the way we are friends, hopefully, to those around us that love us as friends, and give ourselves that same treatment and that same respect of our time and all of that. So, picking up where we were a couple weeks ago, talking about the average of who we're hanging out with and how significantly that can impact our day-to-day life. And then remembering that we're part of that equation too. And we are impacting our days. And so keeping that in mind with our mindset from day to day. We don't have to be perfect, but just trying to remember, well, what would I tell a friend? And I should take that same advice. Would I tell a friend to keep ditching their appointments and their time for themselves? What would I be doing? Would I forgive my friend? That type of thing. Because you are also impacting your average. So I hope you have a great week. I hope if you are in my area that all the snow stays away and that spring is coming soon. And until next week, hopefully I will see you somewhere in some way. Have a good night, everybody.